What would it feel like to be at peace? Have you ever experienced it before? Most of us have, at least a little. What does it feel like? What were the hallmarks of that emotional experience? Can you revisit a peaceful time and identify what it was that made it so peaceful? What is it like to exist untroubled, even amid a chaotic experience? Is it possible to remain at peace while others are unpeaceful around you? Which becomes the dominant experience? Is your peace more contagious than their lack of ease? It should be. It is strange that the two molecules in water, the oxygen and the hydrogen, when separated from one another, are extremely flammable materials capable of joining our chalice flame with great violence. But when joined together as a molecule, are capable of quenching it. The collaboration is a clue to a transformation which occurs once unity is present. Namaste. I'm going to start off with a disclaimer. The following is an oversimplification. It's a generalization about the spiritual practice of non-resistance. No matter how I frame the examples, there will be exceptions to them. Non-resistance is a style of approach, so keep that in mind. If you are resistant to something, if you feel resentment, anger, or fear about an idea or person, let it go. I can tell you right now, you're holding on too tightly. Life is a riddle for which the trick answer is so obvious it seems like bad advice. The word pandemonium is actually the name of the capital city of hell. It's a word that refers to utter chaos and literally translates as all the demons. Sound familiar? It feels a bit pandemonious at the moment. How are you doing with that? Can you look at the pandemonium occurring in the world today and be at ease with it? And that's a big thing to ask because it sounds like I'm saying you should be okay with it, but it's not the same thing. We can be at ease with things we are definitely not okay with. The hardest principle of all spiritual practice is non-resistance. It's the one which seems the most counterintuitive. We maintain a belief that if we stop resisting, all the bad stuff will happen. If we stop holding back these waters, if we ever let go, we're afraid they'll destroy us. Try turning your umbrella the right side up. You're trapping too much water with it the other way around. See how that metaphor functions? The umbrella isn't resistant to the rain. It's designed to accommodate the rain without resistance. If we seek to remain dry, there is a right way and a wrong way to hold an umbrella. Both will keep you dry, but only one way will truly work, at least for very long. The umbrella isn't designed to keep you dry by containing all the rain that falls on it. It's designed by acknowledging the nature of rain and of water and of physics and gravity. The umbrella works so well because it doesn't fight the rain. It works with and is accepting of the nature of water. The umbrella doesn't try to prevent rain. Its job is to just peacefully redirect it. The irony here is the only successfully provable model of progress we've ever had is non-resistance. When we let go, at least in a way that best suits the situation, things work out better, always. Of course, there are examples toward which people can point and say, see, if people hadn't fought back against tyranny or whatever, that good thing wouldn't have happened. The bad would have won. I know it's hard to imagine that non-resistance could have been a solution when thinking about things like the Revolutionary War or the French Resistance, I admit. But I still believe that the practice of non-resistance can even apply to warfare and how we approach the decision-making process. Wouldn't it stand to reason that maintaining the right mindset can help us make better decisions? Because it makes me wonder if resistance really was the component which brought about an end to those wars. It makes me wonder if resistance perhaps actually slowed the process down, maybe even injured it a bit. Good things still do happen even when we resist them tooth and nail. But are we driving with our emergency brake on? We know that once we choose to do battle with an enemy, that enemy will use its creativity to defend itself. It will design thicker armor. It will design bigger weapons, to which we must respond in kind. That is the basic model and result of resistance. You're working too hard. Most of life is not literal warfare, thankfully, but the practice is no less relevant. What if you first considered the nature of your so-called enemy? What if you just thought about them in a way that tries to compassionately understand their needs? What if you decided to love your enemy? That's not the same thing as agreeing with them or condoning what they do, or giving them a get-out-of-jail card, or allowing them to cause you harm. It's a decision to see them as human, a human who's probably just as afraid as you are, just as curious, just as desirous of not only surviving, but thriving. What if you turned your curiosity toward them? What would they then do with the creativity they would have otherwise used to defend themselves against you? Would they be a little more receptive to understanding your point of view? And what might be the result of that? What else might we be able to include in the category of enemy? It occurs to me that my enemy could be many things, including an idea that I don't understand, a car engine I personally don't know how to fix, or even a place I've never been to before. What is my attitude toward these? Are they my enemy? Will they do battle with me or welcome me? Will I be peaceful or angst-ridden as I am deciding how to engage with them? Will I walk through a city I don't know with fear or wonder? The million-dollar question is this: how do we become non-resistant to things about which we are truly afraid? I wish I could tell you exactly, but it's different for all of us. It hinges on the nature of our own personal fears. Each of us have fears which are slightly nuanced by our own experience. The job of marketing data collection looks to find our emotional weak spots and then manipulates us by plucking them like strings. People and corporations, both good and bad, play on our emotions every day. All you have to do is watch a home security commercial and an animal shelter commercial to see the result of their marketing data about us in action. Be careful not to let your fears turn you into someone else's marionette. They say the best defense is a good offense. And good offense is smart offense, well thought out, taking the time to understand one's so-called enemy. Get into their head. It's a power that can go both ways. Use it for good. Get in their head with love, and they just might do the same. You never know. Being deliberately non-resistant as a life practice means giving something the opportunity to simply be itself and hose it down with understanding rather than hate. Hate doesn't like to be silenced. It always comes out in other ways. Silencing someone's fear and anguish will only make you less safe from them, not more. So how do we not silence things like racism? Racism is a symptom, not the virus. We need to see beyond people's fear of the other and help them feel better, not silence them. We need to place our energy on opening people's minds in non-combative ways if we wish to truly no longer experience racism and discrimination in the world. We need to make people healthy and educated for generations. That will see the end of racism in time. Systemic human enrichment for the long game would slowly eradicate the symptom of racism from within us. But that requires us to give a shit about one another, to be blunt. It requires us to consider what loving an enemy actually means in the real world. The problems we see in the world today are largely a result of our having silenced people's hate rather than listened to it for the fear it really is. It's understandable. Who wants to listen to hate? But we should have listened more honestly to their anguish and done our best to soften it rather than silence it. All that accomplished was a temporary sense that the problems had gone away, but we all know they didn't. They were waiting to be heard, and now they are. But at what cost? Every problem has a solution to which non-resistance would be an excellent servant. Let it go. Let your fear and hatred go. There are worse things in life than pandemonium. Chaos has an order to it which we are not capable of seeing. You will be okay. The answers will come to you. I promise. Be at ease now and breathe. Listen to the sounds of the ocean. Listen to the sounds of the waves crashing. And breathe. Feel your breath traveling down through your arms and into your fingertips. Feel a sense of relaxation moving into your torso and hips and legs and feet. Breathe into your entire body and relax. Continue to listen to the sound of the water, hearing its gentle sound as it moves the grains of sand along the surface of the wet shore. The slight hissing of millions of grains of sand colliding with one another as a thin sheet of cool ocean water moves back and forth over them. Hear again the sound of the waves as their forms collapse against the shallow rise of the beach. And breathe. Follow the sound backward, out into the water. Slight gurgling noises as the wave approaches the shore and begins to heave itself upward, forced to act by the rise of the seafloor beneath it. Picture yourself standing shoulder deep in warm ocean water. The waves are building towards you. You are deep enough that if you squat underneath the surface, a wave will go right over your head, allowing you to pop up behind it after it passes. As you continue to breathe, imagine ducking beneath the waves for a while. It is enjoyable to remain largely unaffected by them. But you would be a part of life. You would only feel comfortable for so long ducking beneath the waves. They are an irresistible force, and you would join with them. You take a deep breath and push against the sand as the next wave comes up behind you. The wave grabs you and holds you to itself, thrillingly propelling you toward the shore. It lasts only for a moment before you make a wrong move and fall beneath the waves. But you swim out a bit and try again. Even though you remain aloft up on the wave for only a moment, it was enough. It was enough to know how good it feels to join with the benevolent forces around you. You try many times, each giving you a moment to a full minute of succeeding the wave and becoming one with it, encouraging you to keep on trying. You take another breath before joining with the next wave as it approaches. This time, all conditions are perfect. Your attitude is one of non-resistance to the wave. You make no mistakes. You commune with the wave surrounding you. You are one with it. Without pause, the wave carries you all the way to the beach and places you gently upon it, almost as if congratulating you for being its friend and loving it for exactly who it is. Respecting its volatile nature, but knowing that its truth is an engine on the planet, a generous giver of power to all those who will themselves to receive of it. Listen to the sound of the water again, and remember that you were once and still are a part of it forever. Take one final breath and return.